moving the little sketch down, please. Yeah.
Hey, sir.
Herren, ich freue mich, dass ich heute Morgen die Gelegenheit hatte, zusammen mit dem amerikanischen Verteidigungsminister das erste in Dienst gestellte amerikanische Patriot-Bataillon besichtigen zu können. Ich freue mich, dass Minister Weinberger die Gelegenheit genommen hat, die Bedeutung dieser Indienststellung durch seine Anwesenheit auch persönlich zu unterstreichen. Das macht deutlich die enge Zusammenarbeit, die wir gerade auf diesem Gebiet haben. Und wir hatten eben Gelegenheit, einige uns gemeinsam interessierende Fragen intensiv zu diskutieren. Ich möchte also zunächst einmal ein herzliches Willkommen dem amerikanischen Verteidigungsminister bieten. Lassen Sie mich zu diesem Anlass einige Klärungen abgeben. Einmal mit der Indienststellung dieses ersten amerikanischen Patriot-Bataillons in Gießen beginnt eine neue Ära für die integrierte NATO-Luftverteidigung in Mitteleuropa. Sie ist der Beginn einer umfassenden Modernisierung der bodengestützten Luftverteidigung, dem Raumschutz der Bundesrepublik Deutschland eine bedrohungsgerechte neue Qualität gibt. Die Einführung dieses Patriot-Luftverteidigungssystems durch die amerikanische Armee folgen in den kommenden Jahren entsprechende Vorhaben der deutschen Luftwaffe und der Niederlande. Damit wird deutlich, ein ganz wichtiger Bereich dessen, was wir gemeinsam in der NATO betreiben, Stärkung der konventionellen Abwehrfähigkeit und Abwehrkraft der NATO. Ich möchte dann noch auf einen weiteren Punkt hinweisen, der sehr wichtig ist. Mit dem rein defensiven und rein konventionellen Waffensystem Patriot wird ein weiterer konsequenter Schritt auf dem vom Bündnis beschlossenen Wege vollzogen, die Anzahl der Nuklearwaffen, insbesondere im taktischen Bereich, zu reduzieren, und zwar einseitig. Dass der amerikanische Verteidigungsminister, wie ich schon sagte, durch seine persönliche Anwesenheit die Bedeutung dieses Schrittes unterstreicht, wie ich auch aus diesem Anlass noch einmal sehr dankbar anerkennen möchte, dass er persönlich einen großen Beitrag dazu geleistet hat, dass es zu diesem bahnbrechenden neuen Abkommen zwischen der Bundesrepublik Deutschland und den Vereinigten Staaten von Amerika gekommen ist, das unser beider Interessen und den Interessen des Bündnisses nützt.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be in Germany again, and particularly in this very beautiful part of the country, and delighted also to have an opportunity to meet with my good friend Manfred in these very nice circumstances. I was particularly pleased to see the added strength of deterrence that this air defense equipment will give NATO and the West. And I'm also very grateful for the way in which the American troops are received in this part of Germany, and very happy to see the very fine new quarters that are provided for the Patriot battalions. The task is a difficult one, and we want very much to have it performed by people who are having a good quality of life and good circumstances, and people who are volunteering and happy to be here. And people I've talked to this morning are in that category. The quarters are excellent in every way, and I think the added strength that the cause of freedom is being given by this new equipment and this joint enterprise here is a very happy thing for all of us. I'll be glad to try to take your questions.
Mr. Secretary, may I ask, 1 month after the Pershing II fire at Heilbronn, what have you...
Investigations both here and in the manufacturing suppliers in the United States, and we will continue to that investigation. We want, of course, to be sure that the troops and the public and the whole area are safe, and we are satisfied that is the situation. We're making improvements and changes in both the procedures and in the locations security. But at the moment we are continuing that examination and investigation with full German cooperation and participation, and we'll continue to do that, and there will of course be a full report when it's completed.
Could you give us...
The investigation to be thorough and complete, and it's pretty hard to tell in advance how long that specifically will take. We've eliminated a lot of possible causes, and we're continuing to pursue it, but we're also going to examine any changes that may be needed in the actual training procedures. But it should be understood that at no time were any missiles involved or anything of the kind. It was an accident involving the engine, and the cause of the fire is, of course, made somewhat difficult to ascertain because the various pieces were burned up. But we are looking at the whole assembly process in the manufacturing plants, and also in the assembly and all the rest.
Mr. Secretary, can you tell us whether the Reagan administration has already decided to invite European...
The actual technical specifications and skills of the Patriot, I think I should not discuss in any detail. But I just have to say that I have been very pleased with the results and the tests and the whole examination of it that we made in the United States before it was deployed. And there's every reason to believe, as I said, that it adds materially and in a very welcome and needed way to the deterrent capability because of its great capacity.
Your question? He says that, from a Hessischen Rundfunk, he says that stationing, deployment of additional Allied and American troops is regarded in the population with skepticism, because the population is here very dense and there are burdens accompanying that deployment. And if that is taken into consideration by the American administration.
Yes.
By the way, a view which I do not totally share.
I have to say that this is the most skilled and highly stationed interpreter I've ever had. And I did study German very carefully for 2 years in college, and that's why I need an interpreter. Yes, the relationship with the populations and the impact of defensive troops, NATO forces, joint forces is always a major consideration, because we don't believe that we can do the task that we want to do, which is to help defend both the United States and Europe here in the NATO participation, nearly as effectively if we have disregarded the very real concerns of the public. Additional people coming in for any cause always have an impact. We have that at home, where some of our cities are trying now to pass ordinances forbidding new people to come in, and so we're aware of the impact of additional numbers. These are very special people, however, who are here for a very special purpose that serves the cause of freedom for all of us. But we do want to take into consideration, and we believe we do, working through the German Ministry of Defense and through them with the local governments, all of these very real worries about the impact of additional people. We try to minimize that. We try to come in a way that will make people glad that we're here, as we are glad to be here. And anytime we find that that is not being done, why, we try our best to change the conditions that give rise to any complaint. It's a major consideration in every move that we make.
Darf ich die Gelegenheit nützen vor der nächsten?
vorne ab.
come to port arms first? Can you go
by a U-shaped symbol is now being tracked by your radar. To find out more about this target, use the joystick to put the cross-shaped cursor on the target, and then press the hook button just to the left of the joystick. The target will now blink, showing which one is in the hooked state in the computer. A group of 6 buttons to the lower left of the display are labeled Track Evaluate. They will allow you to call up information on a hooked target, as described earlier, or you must designate the target as a hostile by pushing the hostile button. This is the top right button of this group. The Engage button is the shielded one, close to your right hand. By pressing it, the engagement commences. The target will be surrounded by a hexagon to show its status as under engagement. The oval-shaped symbol traveling towards it is the missile. The intersecting lines from the 2 symbols meet at the predicted intercept point. You can now hook and engage as many targets as you like. However, targets that seem to threaten your assets should, of course, be your first priority.
one.
New Mexico. All were jammer-equipped F-102s. The mission followed closely the scripted scenario. 2 warhead-equipped missiles were ripple-fired from the TAC-1 site, which had the high-flying formation targets under engagement. Sometime later, the TAC-2 site acquired the low-flying target and launched its missile. The 2 missiles launched by the TAC-1 fire unit intercepted their targets in rapid succession. The missile launched from the TAC-2 site also did its job. Follow-on evaluation, the most important challenge yet faced by the Patriot air defense system. The results were dramatically successful, proving that this highly advanced system is now ready for the even bigger challenge of the battlefield, protecting our armed forces from air attack by any aggressor nation.